Hey guys, Czar here. Hope all is well. Trust you're having a good day so far. Happy Friday, Freaky Friday, 9:27 a.m. And that means we are about 3 minutes away from the open here on New York. This is the daily frame, guys. Three sisters, NASDAQ, S&P, and Dow. You can see that we have inside days, very tight bodies, basically unchanged since the futures session opened at around 6 p.m. last night. And you can see just a very, very flat little body here inside of yesterday's fairly wide range. That was an inside day here in the NASDAQ anyway, to the massive range, historical sized range on Wednesday. So contracting pattern here coming in, guys. Very directionless at this point. We are basically in balance here on the NASDAQ and the S&P. Those are the two sisters 1-minute charts that I will come back to. This is my new trading grid, guys, this week. As many of you know, it's the same as the grid before in that it's the daily, 30-minute, and the 1-minute charts. Same charts, just configured from left to right in a more symmetrical way based on how we were taught to read as kids. Certainly, if you're from the Western world, reading from left to right, starting with the daily, then moving to the 30, moving to the 1. All right, guys, while we're waiting here, you can see the 30-minute chart, guys. Let me just expand that. There's that contracting pattern inside of yesterday's span of travel. There's the top of yesterday. There's the bottom of yesterday, contracting into Asia, a little bit down and back up again, but contracting even more inside of this range right here, right? See that there? And now sitting on a fairly minor zone here, guys, from the same session, which of course is the UK. We are open now, but again, this is a fairly tight range, not by historical measures, by the way. In fact, this range here, from here to here, is a whopping 580 points. That's massive by normal standards. But since we've been dealing with such relatively huge ranges, this is a contracting pattern on a relative basis. And the 1-minute opening range is done, guys. And you'll see that that range is 62.25 points, fairly modest given the environment that we're in. And on the S&P, it's 21 points approximately for the 1-minute open range. Nothing for me to do here, obviously. On the open, I'll be watching very, very carefully. We have that negative moving average configuration coming into the open here on the 1-minute chart with a fairly clean sequential wave downtrend, pushing down, retracing into the 21, dropping down, retracing into the open, and now we could be dropping down here, guys. Just curious to see how we react to this little piece right here. S&P leading the way. All right, guys, so we have an inside day here with a neutral to bearish body, permissible to both longs and shorts, beginning to break down here below this zone, at least trying to, below open range after triple topping inside of the open range. And pushing up now, guys, above the open range. Not interested in chasing this to the upside at this point. This feels fairly nondescript since we are basically at and now back under VWAP and the top of the open range, inside of the open range on the S&P. This is no man's land in my books. Nothing to do. So fairly typical Friday action here, guys, especially in the context of an inside day with tiny daily body. This is really indecisive stuff, resting and digesting after these big moves that we've had of late. And both are pushing up here now, guys, trying to make their way above VWAP. See if we can get a convincing close here. Ideally, we'd have a pullback towards the open range and VWAP on both. Notice how the S&P and VWAP are exactly in line here for that pullback. See if we can get it. We could just run away, but that's okay. On a Friday, I'm happy to preserve my capital from the week, but we'll see how far we can go on this. All right, guys, there's a partial pullback here. Not exactly what I'm looking for. I'd like to see it come back a little bit more. And pulling back here, guys, we were not able to get a closing candle even above these wicks or above these wicks on either the S&P or the NASDAQ. This one came close. Really looking for some proof of strength here if I'm going to attempt a long. It's trying. There's a positive moving average configuration, but being so close to VWAP and the open range here, it's not overly compelling yet. As many of you know, in extreme markets like we have right now, I really do rely on the broad market. In other words, I really do rely on the S&P 500, in particular, the blue chip stocks, to bolster the case for whatever trade I'm taking here on the NASDAQ. That's something that I do specifically around extreme circumstances like we're looking at right now. And pulling back after failing to go higher here. And as long as we are inside of this ranging stuff, I have no interest in doing anything. So I'll just bring you back, guys, if we, I don't know, either get beyond here or below here, below the open range. Otherwise, there's nothing for me to do. All right, guys, we're back, and I'm going to end it here. It's already 10 after 10, and we are just grinding around in this mess. And inside of this 30-minute range, and so there really is nothing for me of interest here. We'd have to get right down here below and set up in a really cool way, and way up here above and set up in a really cool way for me to get interested. And then, of course, we have some mess and noise and stuff in here. So that'll be it for me today, guys, and probably it for the week. Thank you for being here. Really do appreciate you. Hope you have an amazing weekend. Talk soon.